Hey, everybody. It's Colin from Colin's Backstage Pass, where every week we meet with local venues, local bands, music folk. And this week I'm excited to have my guys from L'80s with me this week. How you guys doing?
Very good.
Well, pleasure to be here. Fantastic. Thank you. Always great to see you guys. And so I was thinking back when we talked about doing this, when I first met you guys, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it was when you opened for Rattle and Hum at Amos's about 2 years ago.
That is correct.
Excellent. And I've been following you guys ever since. So excited to have you on. It's always great to see you guys up here at the lake as well. This is more of a lake-focused show, but it's great to have you. So who wants to jump in and tell me how it all started?
I'll take that one. Because that was a while ago. We actually started before pre-COVID is when this all came about. And I was in a band, and as you are, I'm sure, very aware, things are often changing within bands, and things were changing. And it was a 90s grunge band, but we did a few other interesting songs. And I said, you know what I'd love to just try to do is put together a new wave band that only plays new wave music, because no one's doing it. It's a real hard genre to play. The musicians that can play it are hard to find. And I put out a little ad and started with a keyboard player, because I figured that would be one of the more difficult ones and pretty important for this genre. And then went through a couple different iterations, and finally, after probably about 4.5 months, put together our first iteration, if you will, of the band, only to have COVID hit. And a couple of the members were not comfortable in that environment. With us today, we have one original member who played bass for us, but also took a little break from the band and now is back, fortunately for us, to play. And yeah, we ended up playing as a 3-piece in the few venues that would take us, just kind of an acoustic show. I watched some of those videos. I don't recommend them. Don't go back and look for them, please, because they're not that good. Even though the musicians that we had were good. Yeah. But yeah, that's how it happened. And then once the dust settled with COVID and everything else, we reformed and brought basically what you see now and hear now as L'80s.
Fantastic. All right, so let's go around the room. I want to hear how everybody started. How old were you? What instrument did you grab? All that kind of good stuff. Who wants to start us off?
Let's start with the young guy.
All right, Matt. Matt Cole. I play drums. Currently 31. Probably started playing when I was 12 to 15, so I give it 15 years now. Most of that professionally. My dad played guitar. Older brother played bass. Just natural things to do. Pick up drums at that point, so they really didn't have a choice. But been playing here in Charlotte for, I guess, probably since that pre-COVID time as well. 7 years, whatever you want to call it. Different projects, but this one's by far the most fun, most challenging, and I think most talented group of guys.
Great.
I have to tell them all that. So you don't have the difference. I'll be, and it's really not a big deal anymore. I'll be 59 later this month. I started in 1978 at age 12. Drumming. Spanish for mom. She brought home drums and general love of rhythm, led to bass guitar around 85. I spent the summer with a couple of good Duran Duran albums. I worked on them. And just stayed in the rhythm space for years. And I came out here in 2000 and looking at a band long after that with the keyboardist who brought me into this band. And he and I still play together. So we're going 25 years.
And he's played with us a couple times.
Yeah, he has.
Love it.
So that's how it started. It was the drums then beats.
Nice.
Brad, you're
we're going around the horn here with the
platforms. Are we giving our names? My name's Brad. I think that was already said. Yeah, I guess I was lucky in that my dad wasn't a musician, but he did prefer listening to instrumental music. So growing up, I had Inventors, I had Dwayne Eddy albums, and all I did was just stare at those guitars on the record covers and lust after them, even at age first grade or whatever it was. Third grade, I got my first nylon string guitar and learned about 3 chords in some Saturday morning workshop. And pretty much after that, it was all self-taught stuff. But I was playing a lot of this stuff when I was in bands in high school and a little bit in college as well. But it was always something I preferred. My good friends in school were listening to Van Halen and God knows what else, and Motley Crue, and I wasn't. Let's put it that way. So kind of held on to that genre. And I was lucky enough to go to school where 97X, the future of rock and roll, was famously quoted in the film Rain Man. So they were still playing all that alternative college rock stuff. So that was right up my street. And kind of stuck with that genre just in the guitar space. And so when this band came up, I had a little bit of a false dawn because, as Steve said, COVID came around. And I actually went into a surf band here, and I'll mention them just because people may know them, called Aqualats. Played with them for a couple years. That split up because people moved away. And then, so this is kind of my second go round, even though I never played any gigs the first time. And so I've been playing with these guys 3 years now.
Awesome. And you have the best hair in the band.
Say again, please.
You have the best hair in the band.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
Morris. Brad Morrissey Morris.
There you go.
Yeah, and I will say, so Brad was the first guitarist, and we played together, and we had a lot of fun. I was like, damn, his tone and the sound was amazing. We did part ways when, because he really wanted to play out and was ready to do some things. I didn't quite have the band formed yet, but as soon as some other changes happened on the guitar front, he was the first one I called him, like, is there any chance you're available now? And unfortunately, it worked out.
Nice. Love it.
Now you can go.
No, it's my turn. No, I didn't know what you're
Not the beggar hand.
Yes.
I'm Jeff. I play keyboards in L'80s, and I grew up in Maryland. My journey with music started in early grade school. I was classically trained on the piano, but when I got into high school, my older brother, who was a bass player, and a drummer across the street were gigging around the DC area all the time, playing in rock bands. And I started playing out with them, sitting in and then playing shows with them around DC. I guess I was playing bars when I was like 15.
That explains a lot.
And it's interesting because when a lot of the music that L'80s plays today was new and original back in the 80s, it wasn't really what I was listening to. We were all very serious about things like prog rock and jazz and fusion. So we were listening to a lot of Rush and Chick Corea and what Herbie Hancock was doing, and Yes, and bands like that, more technical. And we were into a lot of jazz, and I always thought the stuff that was on MTV was kind of not really my thing. And then I think as I got older, I rediscovered it through First Wave and a lot of the Sirius XM playing a lot of music from that era, and I more and more into it. And when I connected with Steve, I really thought about all the bands I played with, all the jam bands and rock bands, but I never really put the effort into developing myself as a synth player and a pop player. And a lot of the types of music that we do is really different because the synth drives this band just as much as the guitars and bass do. And that's very different from a lot of like blues-centric 70s, early 80s rock music. And that's how I got here. It's what I do. And it's kind of my identity is keyboardist in L'80s.
Lucky.
Fantastic.
There's a history of music right there.
Yeah.
Which makes no sense. I would have, you started in one direction and you ended up somewhere else. So that's a total 180 from what I was expecting. But no, I love
You should see my drive.
And music-wise, I actually have always loved music. First instrument was a harmonica. I knew I wanted to be a live performer when I got Kiss Love Gun in first grade. When that came out, that was my first record of all records, and still a favorite, and I'm a huge fan. And I went from the harmonica, which I never really mastered, to getting a drum set, JCPenney drum set. I picked it right out of the catalog. And I was so excited when I got that. I never really learned the drums very well, and I ended up getting a guitar. My parents got me a guitar in my teens, and it was as heavy as me. Someone made it. It was like a kit guitar. It was a Les Paul, but it was a knockoff, but it was just as heavy, if not heavier. Never really got that good at that either. And got a bass. Never really got that good at that. played piano, played saxophone. Even though I do play saxophone in one song, I'm not that good at that either. And so because of all of that, I ended up singing. And so now
So singing is like a fault. Is that what you're saying?
yes, it has to. I ran out of tries with instruments. So that's why I surround myself with amazing musicians that actually know those instruments and are really extensions of their bodies. And it's incredible what they can do. And I am jealous of what they can create with the instruments and do my best, obviously, to support it from a vocal perspective.
Seriously, JC Penny started a lot of careers, man.
JC Penny's there.
Guitar series, Christian book. Yeah, I mean, they started so many people up.
Nice. Yeah,
Absolutely. Well, I've got a drum kit in my house that I dabble in. I've been managing bands for years, and there's always been a kid in the house because that's where rehearsals were. And I'm still a YouTuber, follow along kind of thing. And I've got maybe 6 songs in my repertoire that I'm about 80, 90% on. But I am not a musician. I don't know how to read music. I know it sounds good. I know what songs I like, right? I'm an 80s kid like you got, most of you guys, right? I do love that you guys play the new wave stuff because you're right, Steve. Nobody else plays that. They may throw 1 or 2 songs into the mix here and there, but I mean, you guys are known for this. And if they wanted just that music, you're really it. And I applaud you guys for sticking to that and not conforming to the every other 70s, 80s, and 90s covers that are out there. And I love those guys too, but it's really cool to see you guys really do it your way. And I've seen you play a lot in South Carolina and South Charlotte. I know you guys are creeping your way up into Lake Norman. Is there other areas of the state you guys are interested in playing in? Because this is something a lot of folks may see. So here's your opportunity to say, hey, here's some venues we might want to play at. So sell it, brother.
I appreciate you offering and giving us the opportunity to have that, to mention some of the things. I don't know, and anyone can chime in, obviously, on if there is a place or something that someone's looking for. But I mean, I think we love venues that are wanting to dance and have a good time and listen to this music. And there isn't a specific place. We played Troutman a couple weekends ago at Bottles and Taps, and that was really fun for their 2-year anniversary. We've never been up there before. And that was pretty good. We haven't even really played that far south. It seems like there are some good areas for music, including like Belmont and stuff. And I think it'd be fun to try to play some places like that, but I can't think of anything specific.
No, I mean, I live up in Mooresville, so I'm jazzed anytime we get exposure around the lake. I love to sort of bring it home and let my hometown crowd of 22 years or so hear what it is we're doing. And I won't complain about the short drive either.
I'm sure that 150 was one of your favorites, right?
Yeah. Yes. 110 is 150,
Yes.
158.
Yeah,
been
bring
110.
Well, there's some other venues we probably haven't. I mean, even though we're local, we may not be aware of them or we hadn't crossed paths with them. I go to Myrtle Beach a lot, and I go to Myrtle's Inlet with the Marks Law. And I know there's half a dozen clubs there that they would lock us in the building if we went and played and keep us there, but it is a little bit of a haul. But that crowd and that demographic and those venues, I mean, they've got the stages, they've got the permanent PAs. I mean, we can sail right in there and do a great job, but it's just, if you're trying to get there back in the day, it can be tricky. But I think I'm not going to rest until we go. Let's put it that way.
And I just want to add that we're comfortable playing to the small room where people are 3 feet in front of us, having a good time. We'll play at the Shore Club right down the street in the lounge, and the people are right up on the stage with us. We also have played Amos and Goldie's. We know how to play to the big room too, with light shows and effects and everything that really fill a big experience and get a whole crowd to the back of the wall really going. And either one of those situations, I think, is just enjoyable to get the response. Sometimes it's nice to have the big room in town, like you said, you saw us at Amos, and sometimes it's just nice to see all the people we know who come out to see us, just hanging out with us.
I get it.
Yeah, the big crowds can be exhilarating. Landry was a blast. Just the exhilaration of that volume of people.
About a couple thousand people.
But this engine going nuts, and it was a real joy to do that.
Yeah, you guys kicked that series off. That was fantastic when I saw you guys do that. I know you owe Justin a favor after that one, probably, right?
Yeah. Probably.
Well, we're closing Burkdale this year too. So we're opening that one and closing Burkdale. So that's both of those will be, I hope, exciting. And we were actually scheduled it both last year, but both rained out.
Yeah, Labor Day weekend or so. Is that Labor Day weekend-ish? The
I
end
think
of the
it's a
season?
little later.
Okay, mid to late September.
Yeah.
Okay, I gotcha.
Yeah, we're gonna try not to be rain magnets this year.
I gotta tell
Really.
And right, and anyone watching from here at the lake, Thursdays are the worst days to play at the lake in the summer.
Yeah, we got.
I got to
this
say, a
magic.
third of the show have been canceled. I mean, Rattle and Hum got rained out when we were up there in
That-
June-ish, I guess it was. So yeah, it was. It's hard, and you're set up and you're ready to go, and then the sky opens up, and the red dot on the radar is coming your way, and there's no way that's changing. So
Welcome to Charlotte.
get yeah. Well, it would be great if there was some more indoor shows in the summer, like amphitheater kind of feel. I guess it would be easier to pull that off, but there's really not a lot of good options for that. But anyway, we'll work on that. That's the next thing we'll talk about is how we can change the music world, right? But one of the main reasons I do this week after week is one, to give everyone a chance to kind of see you all when you're not up there doing your thing. And it's kind of hard to come in and chat with you and all that. But what would you say if the next generation of musicians, and there's the School of Rock up here in Cornelius, and I know there's one or two other businesses that are really encouraging kids today to really get into music. What would you all encourage them to do or tell them to be careful of? It's your nephew or your niece. They're 15 years old and they want to get into music. What would you guys tell them to look out for and what to hold on to?
Listen to a diverse mix of artists. Don't get pigeonholed into one or two styles. And when you learn the technical stuff, learn the math and all the technical side of the music, but also start figuring out feel and groove and what that means. When it's really grooves, when a rhythm section grooves, it's really transformation. First song. And I didn't learn it until much later. I didn't start to get it. What it is to play slightly behind the beat, these sorts of things too. Even take, and part of the fun I have with this band is taking this really technical electronic music that's often sequenced and really precise and groove it and change the feel of it and throw a little more organic feel on it. That's something I would say spend some time.
I have teenagers. I've got two 16-year-old boys in high school. And the one thing that, we really enjoy doing together is we go see a lot of live music. And in particular, we go see a lot of bands. My kids play keyboards and saxophone and guitar. And the one thing that we've really bonded on doing together is we go see a lot of even tribute bands down at Amos. When my kids see there's a Nirvana or a U2 or an REM or a Police tribute band, they're dragging me down there. And going out to see live music, especially real live bands playing real instruments, is in a lot of ways becoming a lost art. It's some of the pop music is being replaced with machines and buttons, and it's just not the same as somebody plugging in a guitar or hitting a real drum kit and making sound. So go see live bands while you still can, because it's the great art form.
Absolutely.
Red Matt.
Well, you mentioned School of Rock, and I have noticed, I guess you can't do anything these days without filming it on your phone, and that's fair enough. That's the social media generation. But I do see bands, I see School of Rock, or just groups of kids playing as ensembles. And I think there's a tendency, both among students and teachers both, to say, well, until you get to a level, don't play music with others. I've never understood that. To me, that's like going skiing and saying you got to stay on this particular trail and you can never try anything that's more difficult than that. If you're playing with other people, there's always going to be errors, but you're actually going to grow as a unit, whether you realize it or not. The psychologists would call that the Gestalt approach, meaning everything is kind of a collection of the whole is greater than the sum of the parts. And you're not forming a band unless you want to, but just playing with other people, you're playing off them, you're learning to anticipate what they're doing and vice versa. Not talking about learning feel. To me, that's how you learn feel, is you're not just playing along to a record, which is already perfect. You're playing along with other people that may make mistakes, you make mistakes, but you're all just kind of roll with the punches. So it really is the old garage band approach, but it's obviously very high tech, both with the equipment being used, which fortunately is a lot more inexpensive than it used to be, and the fact that everybody's taping it and looking at it on video and uploading it, and etc. That's great, but at the end of the day, you're still learning to play. So I agree.
Yep, I agree. That's a good point.
I knew I'd learned something when Brad would speak tonight. I just didn't know it'd be the thought effect or whatever it was.
Can you spell
I think a
guitar, though?
combination of what everybody else here has said is just go play music. There's no better feeling than playing music your buddy wants to play, and all 5 of you or 4 of you, whatever it is, just come together and have that kind of like we are one feeling. Just feels awesome. Yeah, just get out and do it.
Well, like you're talking about the drum kit at home, play along with records. For people who know records, but put a record on. I play along to. I have a YouTube playlist for drum meditating in my room. I go out and curate okay tracks for myself and drop out the drums and drop out the bass. Whatever feeds your soul. And then when you go out and get with the group, you're going to bring all that good stuff with you. But mostly just find the joy in it. Whatever the hell you're doing,
Yeah.
always the joy.
Yeah, I'd say same thing. Do it for the right reasons, and the right reasons are the reasons that you're doing it. You know what I mean? Like, and don't get caught up in any of the other things, because lots of musicians have made amazing music careers for different reasons. But yeah, if you're passionate about music, I would say just like everyone said, you're kind of bringing it all together. But try different things, keep it creative, keep it exciting.
Yep, I get
Don't
it.
give up on it.
So I've said this before to a couple of the bands that I've talked to, and I worry about the next generation in a way, because if they're not playing 70s, 80s, 90s, some 2000s, what else is there? I don't know anything from the 2010s and on that would be a tribute or would be a cover. But you kind of run out of any musicianship, because to your point, it's all electronics, right? So the art and the skill of going back to those decades of music is really the core of when rock and roll started. I guess you could argue the 50s, but you get my point. It's really when people were listening to all different kinds of music. I try to encourage the next generation. Young bands come up to me. They know I manage bands and I do these, and like, how do I get my band good enough to be on a stage? I'm like, you just got to play. And then you, as you all know, I'm sure you had to dig your way through the mess. You're going to play in places where there's 3 people sitting at the bar. They're not paying attention to you, right? You feel like no one cares that you're there. But to every, the point you guys are making, you got to play and you got to get together and you got to love it. And I see this all the time as a fan. There are some bands, when they get up there, I know they're having fun. I know you're having fun. And there are some bands that I know they can't wait until the last song. They wanted to get their check and they want to go. And the fans feel that, right? So how do you guys keep the energy show after show? You've played these songs hundreds of times, right? How do you keep that energy and make it feel like it's the first time you've hit the stage? Because that's how I feel when I watch you guys.
We do change it up quite a bit. I always,
Not saying every song is the same.
I know, but I text Steve like a couple of days, like, what are we playing at the next show?
Yeah, we do change it up quite a bit, which does help. And each band member has brought songs to the band that some of us might not even been heard of before. And I think that keeps it exciting. The fact that most of the guys sing songs as well, take the lead on songs and have that ability, I think hopefully keeps it more exciting and stuff too. It's probably hardest for the youngster because he doesn't know some of the songs. He has brought up a few, then we're having quite.
I'm having fun. I'm on my learning journey.
And we've never been afraid to take a request, even if we've never played it before. We get like the odd request and we look around and say, do you know it? And I'm like, not really, but
Brad does. Brad knows every song ever written. And he'll play it.
I'll figure it out by the second chorus. I mean, every time
We've lost someone that's a musician or that was well known, and we happen to find out when we're there, he can usually pick up a song like so quickly. So that, and we do change it up in real time quite a bit, which makes it fun. Don't get me wrong though, we argue quite a bit. There's some drama sometimes pre-show. There's dramas at rehearsals. We had drama at our last show. I mean, it's not perfect, but it is like family. Yeah, we're all good about it. We realize it more so than any band I've been in before about that. That's all part of it. And it doesn't have to, you don't have to hold on to that stuff. It's just, and typically whoever gets your own internal stuff that's really heating up that you're just letting out probably at the wrong time. And I think we've all started to, we're old enough, we've played together long enough, we all are kind enough and caring enough that we get past it pretty quick. But I do think the variety of what we do does help out a lot.
Well, and feeding off the crowd,
a huge thing for me is when I'm carrying out the call. And people bring their kids, which is wonderful. And I look down the front of the stage and there's 2, 3, 4-year-old kids jamming to Colt. And they're having this experience. We're giving them this experience. I'm going to get down there and dab with them. Whether you just see that connection happen, I will light right up. And if you want me to do another hour, that one, I'll do another hour. But the energy hits when you see that communication happening with the crowd. When the crowd is in it, it's just a joy.
And I get a lot of the energy just by the fact that we're doing all this music live. We're playing the instruments live, knowing that a lot of this music was originally done with drum machines and programmed studio synthesizers back in the 80s. A lot of the type of music that we do was very much studio wizardry of its era. And like, we're just playing this. He's playing a regular drum kit and just hitting the toms and the snares. And it sounds like New Order and Depeche Mode to me. Just the way that we're recreating those songs with live instruments gives me a lot of that energy. Because there's no backing tracks when you come to see us.
Yeah. And to address your original point about
What did we do?
about repetition or doing a song again and again and again. Believe me, I've been in plenty of untight bands, and you don't know if you're dragging the audience along by the hair or they're doing the same thing to you. But when it's tight, then it's like surfing on a wave. You don't even have to think about it. And all of a sudden, that's when the crowd picks it up. And I think you implied that there was a sixth sense on the crowd's part. And that's absolutely true. I mean, if you don't have to look around and say, what are you playing when? And did we miss a cue or anything like that? If you don't even have to look around and worry about it, then you know that everybody's locked in. And that's usually when you see people kind of wiggling in their seat and they kind of come forward. It's almost like gravity at that point.
Yep. No, fantastic. I love that. Well, guess what, guys? We're about done. And that happened real quick.
Yeah.
And you guys said
Yeah,
a lot
we
of
enjoyed
good stuff, bro. I appreciate the depth of it too. I know you guys are joking about it too, but I don't think a lot of folks really understand what goes on behind the scenes to get you here as a band. You get along. You're just like a family. You guys said there's always going to be something, right? It's never perfect, but you get up on stage week after week and you do your thing, and you guys are good at it, and you're good at it together. And I'm a fan. That'll always be a fan of you guys. And I just want to encourage you guys to keep doing it. If I can help you in any way, if there's venues, I kind of threw that out as a hook. You didn't take it. If there's venues that you would like to get into, if I have a contact, and I say this to all of my friends and bands, let me know and I will connect you. And I will do everything I can to get you guys into new venues. I mean, I get calls all the time, obviously, for Euphonic and Rattle and Hum. But, if there's a show that, we can't do or a venue you want to play in, just reach out, let me know. I'm happy to connect you. And then the rest of it, you guys will make magic happen, right? But hey, I want to thank you all for taking some time. Is it rehearsal night? Is that why there's beer, or is it just beer drinking night?
We usually both have a beer when we're going to sell this. Yeah. We were all so nervous. We had a little liquid courage.
Yeah, no, you guys crushed it. So those watching, get out there and check out L'80s on Facebook. I didn't notice
we appreciate everything you do, Colin. Just so you know, we really appreciate everything you do. I love that you take the time to do this and you do it because you're passionate about it, and it obviously shows. So thank you for allowing us to have this time to chat with you and even learn more about each other and ourselves. And again, for everything that you do. Much appreciated.
Fantastic. Well, great to see you guys. I'll try to get out to the next one up here. I always try to get you on my short list week after week. So we'll check that out. So thank you again. And we'll see you all
Thanks,
next
Bob.
show.
Take care.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.